Who's the best card for the kitchen sink number 2 pack? Watch this video to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back in the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to give in-depth Chew reviews for all the cards in the kitchen sink number 2 pack. I'm going to go over all of the upper tier, or the rare tier as they like to say, the 96 pluses, give them in-depth Chew reviews, and then we'll go over the base tier, which is the 90 pluses, and then I will let you know which card you should pick in each tier for this kitchen sink number 2 pack. Let's get into it. Just looking at an overview of the contents that you could possibly get in this kitchen sink number 2 pack for the rare tier possibility. And I only get one of the 2 tiers, either rare or base. But for the rare tier, you have the option of the 96 overall Sean Green 30-30 club. Then you have the Evan Longoria Signature Series 96 overall. 97 overall Fergie Jenkins strikeout club for the 3,000 strikeout club, that is. Then the 96 overall second half of 2011 Ryan Braun. I'm not sure if this was the year after he got caught on steroids, or was this the year he did get caught on steroids. Either way, he's been caught for peds. So this card, I'm sure, is absolutely juiced for power. That is it for the rare tier. It is just 4 cards: the Sean Green, Evan Longoria, Fergie Jenkins, and then the Ryan Braun. For the base tier, we're going to start out with the 2020 Silver Slugger Eloy Jimenez. Plays for Chicago White Sox, 91 overall. Then you got the 90 overall David Robertson's prime card. Then you have the 91 overall second half from 1969 Harmon Killebrew. Then we have the Cy Young winner in 2015, Dallas Keuchel, 92 overall. Then the 92 overall 1995 All-Star Barry Larkin. And last but not least in the base tier, we have the rookie 1907 Walter Johnson. So looking at these cards, it's 10 cards overall. There's 4 cards in the rare tier, 6 cards in the base tier. We're going to start with the rare tier, give them in-depth Chew reviews, and then I will let you know for each tier which card you should pick, what is the best card out of the 4 in the rare tier, and then obviously the 6 in the base tier. Let's see what they're looking like. Sean Green. In Sean Green's prime, he was one of the best outfielders, to be honest with you. This is his 30-30 club card. He had 35 home runs and 35 stolen bases in 1998 for the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays getting another big-time card in this game. This one's a 96 overall. Green is a right fielder, but can also play left field and center field. He's left-handed batting, left-handed throwing, 6'4", 190 pounds. Looking at his attributes, he has 99 contact versus righty, 60 contact versus lefty, 107 power versus righty, 95 power versus lefty with 78 vision, 65 discipline, and 88 clutch. Great power card. I'm not a huge fan of Sean Green's swing. I know some guys love it. Me personally, it's like an average swing to me. If I had to rate it on a 1 through 10, I'd probably give it like a 6. I don't think he has an amazing swing, but some dudes do love his swing, to be honest with you, so I'll let you guys know that. It's really up to your personal preference. As for the power on this card, he's going to crush righties. So he could be an outfielder that's used as a platoon for righties, but he does have tremendous power against lefties as well, even though his contact is down pretty low at 60. The vision at 78 means the outer PCI is going to be decent size, which could help you for foul tips, as well as just putting the ball in play, which can cause havoc sometimes if you get that broken bat single. As for his defense, he has 75 fielding, 85 arm strength, 89 arm accuracy, 70 reaction, with 85 speed, 85 stealing, and 88 base running aggressiveness. So he is relatively fast. He is rated as a right fielder. He doesn't have the best arm in right field, but he's going to be able to make all the plays defensively, as in getting to the ball at the 85 speed. 70 reaction is a little bit low for an outfielder, but I think he'll be fine. He won't get the best jump off the bat, but it won't be a terrible jump either. I do think he's more suited in left field in my personal opinion, because he doesn't have like the huge arm, but right field with 85 arm strength should be more than fine, especially at this point in the game. But you're not getting like a Vlad Guerrero Sr. out there or a Roberto Clemente, where those guys have absolute hoses for arms. I'm going to give this Shane Green at this point in the game, especially if you only pay 30,000 subs for him out of the pack. We're going to give him 4.5 Chewies. I do think the biggest thing is that he doesn't have great contact versus lefties, and his fielding and reaction is not the best. That's what's holding him away from 5 Chewies. But overall, a very solid power-hitting outfielder. Evan Longoria. This is Evan Longoria's Signature Series card, so it's essentially his best years or all of his best attributes into one card. It's his 96 overall. Obviously, when he played with the Tampa Bay Rays, he was an absolute monster. He's a third baseman, no secondary positions, throws right-handed, bats right-handed, 6'2", 210 pounds. His attributes are very well balanced for hitting. You're looking at 91 contact versus righty, 98 contact versus lefty, 91 power versus righty, 94 power versus lefty, 90 vision, 93 discipline, 97 clutch. You're looking at 90 plus across the board for his hitting. He's going to hit righties and lefties both very well. He has a very, very good swing. I think he has one of the glitchiest swings in the game. You're looking at his defense, 92 fielding, 87 arm strength, 88 arm accuracy, 83 reaction with 60 speed, 37 stealing, 20 base run aggressiveness. Evan Longoria, I really, really like this card, to be honest with you. At this point in the game, I think he's a top 5 third baseman in the game. Mark my words, at this point in the game, we're looking at June 11th when this pack came out. He is a top 5 third baseman in the game. The only problem is there's no secondary position, so you have to play him at third base, which kind of puts you in a little bit of a pickle if you have some other guys that are good third basemen that maybe you can't move to shortstop or whatever else. Although being a top 5 third baseman in the game right now at a good price, because I do think that he'll be probably around $40K at some point in time. I'm sure he's about like $55K right now if I had to look at it. But overall, I really like this Evan Longoria swing. I like his attributes. I'm going to give him 5 Chewies. I think he's all around a super well-balanced card for this point in the game. If you get him to his super refractor to that +5, he's almost 100 plus against lefties, and against righties is going to be 96. His fielding would almost be max. His arm strength would be in the 90s, and he'll actually be 65 speed for a third baseman, which is relatively fast. Overall, really like the Longoria. I don't think it's a super solid high 5 Chewies. I do think when the game gets maybe a month or two from now, he's not even going to be a top 10 third baseman possibly. He still might be, though. He'll probably be at the edge there. And we'll do a top 10 video later in the year whenever we get more towards endgame about the top 10 players in each position. So that'll be a little bit interesting. But for right now, Evan Longoria, 5 Chewies. I think he's a hell of a third baseman for this point in the game. Fergie Jenkins. The 97 overall Chicago Cub, Fergie Jenkins, is right-handed throwing, right-handed batting. He's 6'5", 210 pounds. He throws a 4-seam fastball, slider, sinker, curveball, and forkball. This is for whenever he entered the 3,000 strikeout club. I believe he did in his age 39 season, so he'd been pitching for a very long time to get there. I mean, 3,000 strikeouts for a career is ridiculous. Most guys don't really break 200 strikeouts. I mean, that's a little bit above average if you do. So you have to talk about a guy that was throwing strikeouts and striking out guys for a long, long period of time to get to 3,000 plus strikeouts. You're looking at his pitch velocity here. He has 95 mile per hour, 4-seam fastball, 87 slider, 93 sinker, 76 curveball, 78 forkball. And then for his pitch control, 99 on the 4-seam fastball, 96 on the slider, 92 on the sinker, 86 on the curveball, 85 on the forkball. So you're getting 85 plus for his pitch control. So he's going to be very, very accurate when you're pitching with him. Then looking at his pitch break, it is going to be 90 plus for every pitch except for the sinker is going to be 85. So the 4-seam fastball is 90, slider 95, curveball 90, 92 on the forkball, and as we already mentioned, 85 on the sinker. So he's going to have a lot of pitch movement. He does not throw very, very hard, but he has a big change of pace on his pitches. Let's look at his attributes and see if they match up for the great pitch repertoire he does have. 117 stamina, 90 hits per 9, 100K per 9, 95 base on balls per 9, 82 home run per 9, 93 pitching clutch, 91 control, 83 velocity, and 95 break. Fergie Jenkins, I love this card. I think he's always a very hard card to hit. I think this might be one of the best cards they've made of this Fergie Jenkins. He's getting 5 Chewies from me. I think he's a bona fide stud for a starter right now in this game. I do think there might be some better power pitchers, but I think overall he kind of sits in line with the right-handed version of Al Leiter in my personal opinion. And that 97 overall Al Leiter is nasty. The Tom Glavine from the NL East is also nasty, and I think he's the right-handed version of Tom Glavine, you could argue too. Overall, I really like the way this Fergie Jenkins looks. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Jenkins. Do you guys think he's a 5 Chewy pitcher? Do you think I'm being a little bit extreme? I will say his hits per 9 is a little bit worrisome, and I think that's what's not going to make him a long-term elite pitcher. But I think right now in the game, he could be in anybody's starting rotation, in my personal opinion. Ryan Braun. So I kind of make a joke in the beginning of this video talking about I think this was the year that Ryan Braun took steroids, and actually it was. 2011 was the year he won the MVP in the NL, and he actually admitted taking steroids in 2013. So that's why he just was jacking home runs against them lefties, boy. He was juicing, sticking that needle in his buttocks. Anyways, this is 2011 second half card, and he tore it up. That's why he won the MVP, 96 overall, right-handed batting, right-handed throwing. He's a left fielder that can also play right field, 6'2", 200 pounds. And honestly, I made some jokes about steroids, but Barry Bonds is still my favorite player to this day. Well, that's a lie. It's first Edgar Martinez, but Barry Bonds, I think, is the best hitter to ever play baseball, and he's one of my favorites as well. It's sad that the Pirates gave him away for a sack of peanuts. Well, let him go in free agency. They didn't trade him or anything. You know, just let the best baseball player to ever play baseball go. It is what it is. But even the fact that Barry Bonds used performance-enhancing drugs, we all know he did. I still think he should be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't really have anything super against Peds. I just hate the Brewers because they dominate the Pirates every year. So screw Ryan Braun and his steroid taking ass. Anyway, looking at his attributes, he's 102 contact versus righty, 125 contact versus lefty, 78 power versus righty, 125 power versus lefty, 83 vision, 71 discipline, 105 clutch. He can be a great platoon guy. He's going to mash lefties. He does not have the same power. I guess the juice didn't work against the righties. Only 78 power. So looking at this, definitely a platoon guy. Definitely a guy that could be a tremendous bench bat for sure, especially long term at the max 125, 125 against lefties. Looking at his fielding, he has 64 fielding, 66 arm strength, 65 arm accuracy, 70 reaction, 71 speed, and 83 stealing, 78 base running aggressiveness. Overall, I think that Ryan Braun is a very good card for a platoon guy. I do not think he should be your everyday starter in the field. His fielding is way too weak. He kind of reminds me of Yordan Alvarez. You could actually mix the 42 series Yordan Alvarez that matches righties with this Braun and make yourself a nice little platoon of crappy fielding in left field. Therefore, this Ryan Braun, I'm going to give him 4 Chewies because I really do just think he's a pinch hitter, platoon guy against lefties. Either way, 4 Chewies I think is a fair rating. Steroids or not, even if he was absolutely clean this year, he would still get 4 Chewies. So that does not affect my rating at all. I just think his fielding's too bad to be an everyday starter. And for a bench bat, I think there's other options. For example, you can get the Troy Glaus for free if you want to pick him over the Eckersley in Sizemore and have the same batting against lefties that this Braun does for absolutely free. So there's no point to spend subs on Braun to just be a bench bat, in my personal opinion. Plus, that Glaus can play third base better defensively than the Braun is. Either way, 4 Chewies is what I'm sticking with. So we've gone over the rare tier now and went over all 4 cards. And I would say if you need a fielder, go with Evan Longoria. If you need a pitcher, go with Fergie Jenkins. Out of everybody, I would say Fergie Jenkins just gets the slight nudge over Longoria. I do think that the Sean Green and the Ryan Braun can be serviceable for certain situations. I think that if you're going to go with an outfielder, I think Green is better than Braun is, obviously. Either way, I would go Jenkins, Longoria, Green, and then all the way over to Braun's going to be in the back end there. Even though he's a 4 Chewy card, I do really think he's a platoon guy. Bench bat for sure. Let's move on to the base tier. Eloy Jimenez. Well, it's kind of funny we just went over Ryan Braun because this is essentially a cheap version of Ryan Braun that just doesn't have as good of contact that actually hits right-handed pitching. So why wouldn't you just pick Eloy Jimenez over the Ryan Braun anyway if you're going to buy them off the marketplace for half the price? Either way, this is a 91 overall 2020 Silver Slugger for Jimenez. And he is right-handed batting, right-handed throwing, plays left field, can also play right field. Sounds a lot like the Dominican version of Ryan Braun. 6'4", 205 pounds. They're almost the same size, too. 2 extra inches and 5 extra pounds for Jimenez. That's where he gets a little bit more power against them righties. Looking at 98 contact versus righty, 94 contact versus lefty, 95 power versus righty, 125 power versus lefty with 69 vision, 52 discipline, 112 clutch. Great hitting attributes. That's what Jimenez does. He rakes. As you can see, I don't even need to go over it too much. He's an absolute stud. I love his swing, and he wears red batting gloves no matter what your uniform looks like. He has 60 fielding, 65 arm strength, 62 arm accuracy, 61 reaction with 55 speed, 0 stealing, and 0 base running aggressiveness. Just like the Ryan Braun, Jimenez is getting 4 Chewies. They're pretty much the same version of each other. I do think the Jimenez is actually a better option because he'll probably be like 15,000 stubs. Can be an excellent bench bat, especially against righties. Once you get to his 5th parallel, he'll almost be 100 contact versus lefties. He'll be 100 power versus righty, though. Absolutely nasty off the bench. This Jimenez, I think, is a must-get later on for a bench bat if you don't get him right now. He can be a sufficient left fielder for the price that he is as well if you're making a budget team. David Robertson. This is the prime version of Robertson when he played for New York Yankees. He's 90 overall, relief pitcher. Throws right-handed, bats right-handed. He throws a cutter, knuckle curve, changeup, and 2-seam fastball. His cutter's going to go 94. His knuckle curve's going to go 81. His changeup goes 87 with 92 for his 2-seam fastball. Looking at his pitch control, he's 92 on the cutter, 77 on the knuckle curve, 62 on the changeup, and 57 on the 2-seam fastball. The changeup and 2-seam fastball having terrible accuracy is a no-go for me, to be honest. But let's keep looking. Then for his pitch break, he has 97 on the cutter, 92 on the knuckle curve, 82 on the changeup, and 62 on the 2-seam fastball. I think his accuracy issues just really turn me off in this card for a reliever. You don't want him to be a super wild thing unless he's throwing 102 like the Dibble or Aroldis Chapman, but he's not. He's only about to throw about 96, so a little bit worrisome. He has 25 stamina, 104 hitting, 104 hits per 9, 112K per 9, 67 base on balls per 9, 93 home run per 9, 101 pitching clutch, 72 control, 81 velocity, 97 break. I'm going to give this Robertson 3.5 Chewies. Very worrisome about the accuracy. He does have a decent change of pace. He does have a pretty decent pitch repertoire for a reliever as well. However, I'm going to stick with 3.5 Chewies because that pitch control is just worrisome for me, and that's just enough where if you hang a changeup late in the game, it doesn't matter what your attributes are. Someone's taking that bad boy Yahtzee. Harmon Killebrew. The 91 overall, 1969 second half Harmon Killebrew here is right-handed throwing, right-handed batting, can play third base as his primary, first base as his secondary. And overall, this dude's always a guy that absolutely mashes. He has tremendous power, and you're looking at somebody with 76 contact versus righty, 58 contact versus lefty, 113 power versus righty, 116 power versus lefty with 86 vision, 125 discipline, 94 clutch. Great pinch hit bat. Honestly, he has really low contact against lefties, which is kind of a downside to him. Even though he has really good power and he has very, very tremendous power. Like, he's going to get the 121 power. You get him to the fifth parallel here. However, it's going to take a while to get there. You're not going to use him in the field. Honestly, there's so many other good third basemen out there. I'd probably avoid this Harmon Killebrew at this point in the game. He has 61 fielding, 65 arm strength, 58 throwing accuracy with 57 reaction, 32 speed, 18 stealing, 18 base running aggressiveness. I'm going to give him 3.5 Chewies. I don't think he's a better option than Eloy Jimenez. I think I'd rather go with Jimenez over this Killebrew, and that's what I'm directly comparing him to. He's also not a very good fielder, can only play the corners, which is great to have the power that he has on the corners, but I would have liked to add this card earlier in the game than right now. Dallas Keuchel. The 2015 Cy Young winner, Dallas Keuchel, is a starting pitcher. In this one, he played for the Houston Astros. He's left-handed throwing, left-handed batting, throws a sinker, slider, changeup, cutter, and four-seam fastball. He does not throw very hard, as you will see, at 91 miles per hour on the sinker, 81 on the slider, 79 on the changeup, 89 on the cutter, and 91 on the four-seam fastball. Now, he does have a sinker-cutter combination that goes about the same speed. It's top of the slider and changeup, so that's a little bit interesting. Looking at his pitch control, it is actually very good at 83 plus for all his pitches. You guys can see it right there. 98 sinker, 93 slider, 88 changeup, 83 cutter, 85 four-seam fastball. Then you're looking at his pitch break. He has 83 on the sinker, 95 on the slider, 88 on the changeup, 78 on the cutter, and 63 on the four-seam fastball. Him not throwing that hard is a little bit worrisome for me, but he does have his pitch speeds go all about the same, so he might be okay, kind of like that Fernando Valenzuela. Looking at the attributes here is 109 stamina, 91 hits per 9, 83 K per 9, 90 base on balls per 9, 88 home run per 9, 82 pitching clutch, 89 control, 70 velocity, 95 break. The Keuchel here, I think he's a pretty decent card. The pitch repertoire is nice. The fact that he doesn't throw that hard is a little bit worrisome because people can kind of just sit on his stuff even if it moves a little bit different. After the first inning, though, he might be a little bit harder to hit because you'll be like, oh, I've adjusted to his pitch speed, so now it looks a little bit faster than it normally would. I'm sitting on the fence here of whether to give him 3.5 or 4 Chewies. I'm going to give him 3.5 Chewies here. I do think you could make an argument for 4 Chewies, but 3.5 I think is fair for this Keuchel because he doesn't throw that hard. And typically you need to have some power pitchers on lower difficulty. I think at higher difficulty he might be okay, but his hits per 9 really aren't that great either. The fact that he throws slow and bad hits per 9, I think he can get lit up relatively easily. But if you know how to work the zone with him, he has pretty good accuracy. I think his pitch repertoire is decent, which is why I'm still on the fence between 3.5 and 4 Chewies, but I'm going to stick with 3.5 here. I'm going to go a little bit lower than go higher for this one. Barry Larkin. This is a 1995 All-Star Barry Larkin card, 92 overall. Plays shortstop, cannot play any secondary positions. Right-handed throwing, right-handed batting, 6 foot tall, 195 pounds. His attributes really aren't that impressive. Let's get to them. 98 contact versus righty, 78 contact versus lefty, 42 power versus righty, 89 power versus lefty, 97 vision, 80 discipline, 96 clutch. I don't know if he's swinging a wet noodle against righties for power or not, but 42 power, like, what is that? It is what it is. Absolutely terrible. I hate Barry Larkin's cards every year. I don't think he has a good swing. Let's move on to his fielding. 84 fielding, 77 arm strength, 81 arm accuracy, 79 reaction, 83 speed, 98 stealing, 99 base running aggressiveness. I think there's so many other better shortstops out there than this Barry Larkin. He's stuck at shortstop. I'm going to give this Barry Larkin 2 Chewies. I think even the 99 overall Barry Larkin last year was absolutely trash. So 2 Chewies is what I'm going with. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this Barry Larkin. I think all those cards are always terrible, though. Walter Johnson. All right, boys, I'm just going to save everybody some time right here. Walter Johnson, 2 Chewies. 67 hits per 9. It doesn't matter what you throw. You could throw a ball 300 miles an hour. It doesn't matter. 67 hits per 9 and 91 overall. Absolutely useless. He's going to get mashed. It doesn't matter what his release is. It doesn't matter what he does. 67 hits per 9 is not enough at any type of level. He's going to get smacked around. It doesn't matter what anything else says. So that's why we're going with 2 Chewies. I'm not going to give an in-depth true review. Normally I do, but come on, man. 67 hits per 9. They did this last year to this guy, too, for his rookie card. Why even bring this card out? Like, no one wants to use a card for 67 hits per 9. Let's move it on, wrap it up on the base tier here, and I'll let you know who I think is the best base tier player to have. So we're looking at the base tier, which means we got Johnson, Larkin, Keuchel, Killebrew, Robertson, and then we got Jimenez. Jimenez obviously is the best option. He's a great hitter. He can be used on the bench at the very least, and he's going to be a great budget guy for the outfield. Maybe not the best fielder, but hey, he's going to hit the ball at least, and that's more than half the game in my personal opinion. MLB The Show 21. I do think Robertson might be okay, but Killebrew is probably the second best because of his tremendous power, especially if you're a lower playing player and you can play on All-Star. I think he's going to be a Battle Royale beast for a low diamond in Battle Royale. Keuchel might be okay as well. Larkin, Johnson, and Robertson are probably the worst. Robertson comes in the 4th spot, but these two cards right here, Larkin and Johnson, are just absolutely brutal. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Overall, I do think the Kitchen Sink number 2 pack is okay. I don't ever recommend buying these packs. I think they're a ripoff. For 30,000 stubs, you can do much more, especially if you get 2 of them for 60,000 stubs. I promise you'll get a card that's just as good as any of these cards that are in this pack. You can buy one of the inning bosses that I think like Grady Sizemore, Troy Glaus, or Dennis Eckersley is all better than any of these cards. So I would go with one of those if you're going to spend 60,000 stubs. But if you like to gamble and you want to go for it and you want to maybe try to flip something to make more stubs, because if you get rare tier, you'll probably make about 15,000 stubs. And by all means, gamble your stubs. You do you. I always advise against it. But either way, that's going to wrap up this video. For the top tier, I recommend going Evan Longoria or Fergie Jenkins. Jenkins, I would prefer a little bit over Longoria. And then for the base tier, we got Eloy Jimenez. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this Kitchen Sink number 2 pack. Do you think it's a good pack? Do you think it's another ripoff just like the other ones? What they had, like some Planet of the Apes one or whatever it was, and now the Kitchen Sink. I know it wasn't Planet of the Apes. I just can't think of what it is off the top of my head. Either way, that's what I think about these packs. As always, I appreciate all of your guys' support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play MLB The Show 21. You guys have a great day and be safe.